Hello YouTube. I know I haven't made a video for years, but I feel that this is kind of a public service announcement to those who have just recently gotten a Mobula7 1S ELRS Frsky receiving SBI tinywhoop. Problem that I know that I've seen a lot of people have and that I personally had was the rssi was constantly dropping below 30, and I was getting cutouts, like fail-safe cutouts, about maybe 20 feet out. Well, I just found out a way to increase that range. Very simple, and something that I did on a lot of older whoops, but this one I didn't even think about it. There's supposed to be an antenna on the whoop for the RX. Well, there wasn't. So this is my Mobula7, bone stock, except you'll notice there's one thing different from what you would normally expect. See this red wire sticking out right here? That is a 31 millimeter stranded core wire that I had cut off of a power connector or a balance lead on a LiPo. If you look right down here, see if it'll focus. Come on. Okay, right there. See where it's soldered on? There was a solder blob there with nothing attached to it. And I was getting 50, dropping down to 30, and then fail-safing. Right now, after soldering on that one little wire, I now have consistently 90 dropping down to 70, flying behind walls. I haven't done any long-range testing on it yet, but I do plan on doing that because I feel that this actually is all this needed to be good. Because I know I personally have messed around with Betaflight on here. This is running Betaflight 4.3.2, I believe. The most common or most recent one is 4.4 point something or other. I could not get that to work. This works right out of the box, stock tune. Well, not stock tune, but stock like underlying settings for everything. Except for the receiver, I had put Frsky X and bound in D16 mode with telemetry off, channels 1 through 16. And I have a Tyrannus X9 Lite here, which I use very often for all my RC vehicles. I have a couple planes, I have a couple drones. I use this for any new model that I get. I tried binding it with this, wouldn't work for Frsky D mode, D8 I don't have, so I figured out it would bind in Frsky X mode with telemetry off, all 16 channels, but this one wire is all I needed. And if I had put that on there in the very first place, I would never have needed to mess around with the firmware at all. I would have just bound it and I would have been flying just fine. Now I do know this gets really hot. Another thing you'll notice if you have one of these, I removed the piece of foam that was sitting underneath here because that was just trapping in heat and that was killing it. So in order to keep the heat down, I have the power level for the VTX set to power down when disarmed. And that seems to help, especially on the bench. When I'm out on the bench hooking this to Betaflight, I always put it on pit mode. That keeps the temperature down. But yeah, this thing is awesome. This is my goggle setup I have right now. I have Fat Shark ATV6 with a couple right-hand polarized, circular polarized antennas. This just has the original dipole. And everything else on its stock. For the batteries, I run these, which were recommended on Amazon. These are awesome. They say high voltage. I don't charge it to high voltage. I just charge it like a normal LiPo. Handles it nicely. Good C rating. Um, very good flight time with this. Overall, definitely worth it. But for those of you who have had issues in the past with, or not issues in the past, but issues now, when you buy this Mobula7 right here, this is the exact model I bought. If you have this and you're having range issues, 31 millimeters extended just in the insulation, plus maybe about a millimeter and a half out right where the solder joint is. That's all you need. And yeah, I've read on forums and videos that there's supposed to be like this ceramic antenna in there. This one does not have that. And I saw a little solder blob right on there. I'm like, that looks awful like an antenna placement point. I can't really find any information on this particular board, but if you look there, it's X12FR version 2.1. It's hard to see there, but if you have this, solder that on there, you'll have instant increased RSSI. So don't mess with Betaflight. Just do the I think it came with 4.3.1 and I upgraded to 4.3.2 and it works great. So if you have any questions, get a hold of me in the comments. I may be able to respond. I don't know. I haven't done a YouTube video in years, so this is still new to me kind of, but just solder that on and hopefully you can get to flying. Thanks for watching.